Are you new to the hobby? Are you just starting out and starting a collection and you want some advice to what to do and what to buy? Are you continuing your collection? Do you want more advice on what to do or what to buy? Are you having second thoughts? Are you trying like, I don't know if I should be in this or not. I should, am I spending all this money for nothing? Don't worry, we all went through this, and me personally as well, and Scotty and Johnny and myself, right? But today I'm going to try to break down something for you that maybe that you need to know to get started or even to continue collecting. And whether you're in it for the fun or the long haul, this is the video you want to kind of watch and stay tuned because I'm going to show you some things what to do as you progress and as you want to continue your collection or whatever. When I started looking at topics to discuss in this video, the main thing that stood out was tools of the trade. And what I mean by this is what are the things that you need in order for you, I guess, to continue your collection, make your collection better? What are some things like if you're trying to budget yourself? It's January now, right? Everybody's trying to budget, okay? How much can I spend this month or how much can I spend this year on sports cards or whatever that could be, or stocks or NFTs or crypto? Like how much can I spend per month? How much can I spend per week? And whatever that could be. And the first thing I wrote down, at least for storage cards, is card storage essentials. And what is important about like essentially storing all these cards is if you're new to the hobby, like maybe you're a kid watching this or whatever, you're older adult, like me, and you're like, I want to get into the sports card hobby. Like, what are some things that to do and to how to store these things? And the first thing I wrote down is penny sleeves. Penny sleeves are the ones that are like plastic, but they're real flimsy. And you want to cover all your main valuable cards with this. I don't really do base cards, me personally. I put all of my base cards in these big storage boxes we're going to get to in a second. But I usually put all my parallels or the parallels that are more worth than maybe like $3 or $4 or more. I put these in these penny sleeves, and they're not that expensive, and they usually come with the actual top loaders. And the top loaders are like the harder ones, and I usually double it up, and that's what usually sports card collectors do to keep the corners from bending, to keep them from getting scratched up, to keep them from keep them like if they're a lot of the mosaics and the thicker cards, they kind of warp, and that keeps them more flat. And things like that, and it's they're not that bad. You might be able to find them on Amazon or at Walmart or Target. $13 might give you 100 or 200 or 500, whatever that could be. I'm not sure of the exact price. But you can search them up on Amazon and go to Walmart, go to Target, and they have a whole bunch of them in the card storage section. Binders are very important. I don't really get into binders, but I mean, if you're a kid and you want to bring binders to school and show off all your Pokemon cards, or you want to show off all your sports cards and really good cards that you might have, maybe you throw them in a binder. Maybe you throw like a penny sleeve, then put them in a binder if they can fit. I used to use binders when I was a kid, and I have a lot of my NHL cards and things like that when I was a kid and bring them to school and show everybody. But right now, I don't really put them in binders because binders can get destroyed, and I'm not really trying to get into that. But if you're trying to show things off, it's not a bad thing to use. But I usually use the penny sleeves and the top loaders, and then put them into like storage boxes. I have two different boxes that I use for my personal collection. I have a larger card storage box that really all my base cards go in there, and there's usually like maybe 4 or 5 rows, and they might fit 3 or 4 thousand cards, 5,000 cards for a box, and they usually have like rows, and sometimes you can put like the top loaders in there that might fit if they're big enough. But I just put all my base cards in there. I just throw them in there, not throw them in there, but I organize them by suit, like Topps 2024, Topps 2024 update, Series 1, Series 2, whatever that could be. Just so if I can go back and say, oh man, this guy was really good rookie year. He would have a good rookie year in 2024, but it's 2026 now, and then everybody's looking for a rookie card. I can go back to that one and actually find it. A lot of people, order these things by team or even player. I try to just do it by suit, just because I like looking at, if I look on eBay and say, okay, well, Topps Chrome update has this really high valued rookie, and I didn't know about that before. I can go back in there and just kind of go through them and see if I find them. So that's what I try to do and try to keep them and stored in that way. They're like big white storage boxes. You put them together, they come flat, and then you put them together. They're easy to put together. Also, I have like shoe boxes, not really shoe boxes, but they're like magnetic shoe boxes that you can get on Amazon or wherever. And they're nice because I put all my top loaders in them. And those are my more valuable cards, I guess you could say, like 3 or 4, $20, $50, whatever that could be. And then they're usually just black, and I put my, you know, $5 to $20 cards in there. And then I have like other ones that are a little bit smaller, but they have like more vinyl inside. And I'm not sure exactly what they're called, but you can look on Amazon and find them. And they're more vinyl inside, and there might be like a red exterior or blue exterior. And I use the colored ones to put my numbereds and my autos in there, and some of the patches and things like that, the memorabilia cards. So I can kind of split them up so I can find them easily if I go to a card show, if I'm in charge of a table or things like that. I can bring these boxes there and then display them very easily, and that really helps out. They're not too bad. You can find them for a pretty reasonable price, $15, $20, or whatever that could be. So that's kind of what I use for like the card storage. Um, when I'm looking at like why should you do that? I kind of got it already, but I wrote down why proper protection. I mean, it's very important to have protection for your cards because you never know what's going to be valuable in the future. I had USA baseball cards back in, I think it was 2022, and like nobody knew who Paul Skeens won in 2022, 2023. So I had Paul Skeens cards from 2022, 2023 that I just threw into the base set, and now I'm pulling that because they're all more valuable than they were back, when he was, just a rookie or in college or in the minors. Um, so things like that, they might come back full circle and find things that are more valuable. So that's why it's very, very good to have proper protection. I have like Colby Mayo, I'm saving now. Charlie Condon for baseball, I'm saving now. That might, be good in a couple of years. So I usually get all those cards, Drew Jones, Dylan Cruz, like those guys that might be really good in a few years, and then save them. Andrew Painter, just off the top of my head, who I'm thinking. And I might put them in plastic just for now because you never know, because they might be worth something in a couple of years as they get into the major leagues and work themselves in the major leagues. But there are some also like premium things that I try to stay away from the premium because they're just so expensive. But they have like display cases. They have like you can upgrade as you go if you wanted to. They have, like I said, the cardboard, the 3,000, 4,000 card storage boxes. They have more of like the plastic ones that somebody posted a few months ago, and I got one of them. But they're more expensive, but they will keep the cards safer, obviously, from like from other things in the house or displays or things like that. So there are upgrades you can do as you progress. But I mean, if you're just starting out now, I would try to just get the penny sleeves, top loaders, and maybe get one of those larger boxes, maybe like one of those shoe boxes, magnetic seals, and then you can put all your different variations in there. So that might help you out. Hopefully, it'll help you out. Look on Amazon; they have them all on there. Or go to Walmart, go to Target, go to these other places. Go to your local card shop. They usually have bazillions of these things there, and they're probably a pretty reasonable price too. Tell me you're a new collector, and you might give you a discount. So you never know. Next thing I wrote down was where to buy cards. So where can you buy cards to find these things out? Now, if you're watching this video and you're like a seasoned collector, you can skip through this part and maybe get to like the end of like when I'm setting a budget or the community factor. But if you're like a brand new collector or like a collector that hasn't collected for 20 or 30 years, you might want to stay tuned because, where should I buy cards? Now, before you buy cards and before you know what to buy, you always want to research, and we're actually doing in Sports Card Hustlers is we're doing an insider group. And that insider group is, if you were to comment insider on our comments, we will give you a link to an email, and you send us in your email. And there's no we're not taking anybody's email or anything like that, right? And every few weeks, we're going to send out, excuse me, we're going to send out a email that lists all where everything's at, everything's located, all the different restocks, all the different things that we're looking for, maybe like when Topps Chrome Update comes out or the NHL Series 2 comes out. I know Topps Chrome Update came out already, but NHL Series 2, maybe looking for some players in there, or the Donruss Optic Football, like when are all these things, release dates, and when they're all coming out. So it's very important to look at, but also it's where to buy cards is very important too, because where should I buy them? When are they coming out? Okay. Now I have like NHL Series 2, and they're coming out in March. Okay, so now where can I buy these things? Okay, beginners, I would stick to retail. I would kind of stay at retail. Go online. You can look at eBay, Facebook Marketplace, ComC. You can look at those different places, local card shops. If you're like a beginner, If you're just like trying to get blaster boxes and open things, you might spend a pretty hefty price because blaster boxes, but maybe you stay to the variety packs. Maybe you stay to the ones that are on sale just to start seeing what's good and what's not. And then as you progress and become like a pro or things like that, you can progress from there. But the pros and cons, this is like, okay, what's the pros and cons versus sealed and unsealed? And when you look at sealed versus unsealed, singles is the way that I usually do it. Okay. But you have to kind of know what you want. Is like the Topps Chrome, is that more valuable than like the Little League or the Big League Baseball? Or is that more valuable than the Heritage? So you have to do some due diligence and research which ones are more valuable. The Topps Chrome is like the big thing on campus now, and they're the ones everybody's going after, even though the Paul Skeens has gotten pulled last week. But, Topps Chrome is probably the most valuable out of the sets of all these, and for at least baseball. And you go down the list from there to, Topps. You got Bowman, you got the Bowman Chromes and all that stuff. So you have to look at all these different variations and see which one suits you, which one do you like. My kids like Big League Baseball because it's more kid friendly and it's not that expensive. So they can get a blaster box here and there. They can even get a hobby box. It's like $50 for a hobby box, so it's not too bad. Big League Baseball, you're not finding anything crazy there, but it is a pretty good deal that the kids can do, and it's a little bit more reasonably priced. And what I used to do is singles. So I do singles all the time, but I've been collecting for years and years and years now. So there are pros and cons versus sealed and unsealed, and you have to do your research. Mystery packs could be fun. You can build your collection that way, but it's a lot of times it's like people giving away junk, and people giving away their junk, and maybe they'll throw a couple good cards in there for you. But if you're just trying to build your collection that way, mystery packs is a good deal. We went to Cooperstown in the summertime last summer in 2024, and we got a couple mystery packs, and we got some cool cards there, and they weren't really worth much, but it was cool for our collection. We got some Pete Rose cards, and some older cards from the 70s and 80s and things like that, and even some newer cards. So mystery packs could be a fun thing to do. They have some pretty good mystery packs if you ever go to Ripken Baseball, and Cal Ripken down in Baltimore, and they have some pretty cool packs, the alley cards, to call them, to shout them out, right? And they have some pretty cool mystery packs in there too. They sometimes put blaster boxes in there. Sometimes they put like graded cards in there. So it's a pretty cool thing to do. And they have a pretty good store. We've been there before. The pros of mystery packs, you can get them, or not the pros, but they could be unreliable, right? But some pros of being a pro is looking at, you can buy directly from the manufacturer, if you know the release dates, if you get like on the email list, and then also if you get in there before all the bots get in there. Yes, it's a lot of things, but you can also look at auctions and estate sales. That's a good place to find these things. But you have to know what you're doing. You can't just go there and be like, yo, I want to get some cards, and then you have a estate sale and the card, and they're saying they're selling it for $1,000, and all of a sudden you have nothing in there other than a base card. So you have to know what you're getting, with estate sales and auctions. You have to do a lot of research with that stuff too. So with anything in this world, you got to research and just know what you want to buy so you don't waste your money. That's what I'm trying to tell you, is not waste your money. There are breakers online. If you don't know what a breaker is, I did a video a couple weeks ago on what breakers are, and sometimes they're not really good for the hobby. Sometimes they're good for the hobby, depending on the hype and things like that, and to get people into the hobby. But breakers, not necessarily the best thing, but you get a pack and you say, okay, I want the Phillies, and they'll charge you like $200 for the Phillies, and they'll pull 3 different hobby boxes that are worth like hundreds of dollars, and then whoever Phillies come out to, you get them. So things like that are breakers. So it is good because you don't have to pay for a hobby box, but also some people think it's ruining the hobby. So that's what breakers are doing now. But hobby boxes, you have blasters, you have megas at the retail, you have hobby boxes at local card shops, and the hobby boxes are online, and they're worth a lot of money. And they are, I wouldn't definitely go after that first, because you can spend thousands of dollars just for one box, and it's kind of getting crazy now over the last few years. So you have to kind of watch what you're doing and watch what you're paying for and things like that. So but usually local card shops, you go in there and you ask them like, what are the good sets and things like that, and they should point you in the right direction, definitely if you're a beginner, if you're a kid or whatever it is too. Okay, but that's where to buy cards. My long-winded thing of where to buy cards. 14 minutes into this video. Hopefully you're still watching. If you are, appreciate it. But understanding card types, understanding sets. There's base cards, which is like just base cards, whatever. Okay, you got parallels, which is like based on the base cards, but different colors or different variation, things like that. Then you have inserts. It's like totally different. You might have like the kabooms are like inserts, and they're not like the base cards at all. Usually the inserts are a little more expensive than the parallels and than the actual base cards, but you could depend on the parallels. They can flip back and forth with the different color parallels and things like that. Especially if you get like a rookie card, especially if you get like an auto or a number, because autos do come in the packs now. Believe it or not. So like when I first started collecting back in like the late teens, I didn't know that autos came in the pack. I'm like, man, I got an auto. What the heck is this? And that really got me into the actual thing. So I mean, I got like a basketball auto from Wawa, like a convenience store. So that was pretty cool to look at. But number cards are different. They're unique, and sometimes the number cards are like, okay, I might have a base card and then or a parallel, and then I might have the number card and they're the exact same card, but this one has a number on it. So some people say that we're in the wax pack era now just because of that, and it's like the exact same card, just somebody punch a number on it. So I mean, numbers like 9 out of 10 are made, or 20 out of 25, or whatever that could be, or sometimes you get 1 of 1s, and that's the only one made in the entire universe. So that's what everybody was looking for with the Paul Skeens, was 1 of 1. That was only one card made, and that 11-year-old in LA found it. So that was pretty cool. But you have to make sure that you keep up with the latest release, and that's how you get into the Insider Club too. Make sure you comment Insider, and we'll give you that email list, or that email, set up your email, and then we'll give you that list every few weeks when the release dates are, every month, whatever it is, okay? But don't overspend as well. So watch what you're spending. Don't overspend. It's very important not to go in there and just start buying all crazy stuff, and then you're getting yelled at by your wife. You know what I'm saying? So make sure that you don't overspend and know what to chase, research, all that stuff. That's very important into understanding the sets and the card types. Setting a budget. I said that already, so I won't kind of beat it to death, but just make sure you set a budget. Don't overspend. Don't chase. Paul Skeens is hot now. Jackson Holiday is hot now. Ellie De La Cruz is kind of, still hot. We're still in the off season, and their cards going for a pretty penny. Jaden Daniels is hot now. So you have to watch. Don't just like kind of be like, I got to get his card and buy now, because in 3 months, the Jaden Daniels card might be half of that. So you have to watch what you're doing. And, I would definitely collect for fun and not profit. That makes the hobby fun. That makes the hobby more enjoyable. Doesn't put pressure on you. So just make sure that you collect for fun, not for profit. You're not going to be a millionaire doing this. Okay, you're not even going to be a thousandaire, whatever we're going to call it, right? So just make sure you do it for fun. And then, hey, you get a good card, and you want to sell it, and make some money. That's pretty cool, all right? So you just you go with the flow, and make sure that you guys have fun doing this. Bring your family into it, bring your kids into it, bring your parents into it, or whatever that could be. And that just makes, next part, the community. The community factor makes the community more. It makes it more enjoyable. There's so many different platforms you connect with. You can go on Facebook groups. There's a bunch of different, Facebook groups you can go out. They have restock dates on there and things like that. So I get a lot of my information from there. There's platform like Reddit you can go on. There's Discord. There's YouTube here, right? So if you're part of this channel and you've been commenting since the last year, we've been doing videos. That's awesome, and still comment for us. So that's a really cool thing that we have come to play in this channel, but also other channels as well, and comment to other channels and Instagram and Facebook and all those different kind of things that you can kind of learn as you're going, which is pretty cool. Sometimes they have trade nights. The communities have trade nights. They have card shows. They have networking for deals. They have local card shops you can go to and talk to people. We have near our house here, they have a game night, and you can go in there and bring Dungeons and Dragons and all different kind of stuff, and play games. And some people bring in cards, and they have card games and things like that. So the same thing here. You can do trade nights, you can do card nights. That'd be a pretty cool thing to do. And lastly, stay informed. Make sure you're watching YouTube videos. Make sure you're staying informed who's hot, who's not. What are some good things to get? What are not good things to get? There's a lot of podcasts to do this. There's a lot of forums, like I said before. You want to keep up with trends. There's a lot of things going on in the sports cards that I just kind of hinted at, and there's way more than that. But if you're a beginner, hopefully this video helped you out, And the last thing that I would do, the most important thing that I would do, is play fantasy. That means go into a fantasy football league, make a fantasy basketball league, even if maybe you don't like basketball, just so you know who's hot and who's not. And that really, makes you understand the game, but it also makes you understand whose card's going to go next or who card you can get at a pretty good price, right? If Otani gets hurt, in April or May and he can't do anything for the entire year, his card value is going to go down, right? And if you're in fantasy, I mean, obviously you're in fantasy, or if you're in real life, you can understand, you can know that's happening, right? But even if he's not having a great season, maybe not necessarily look at that when you're just watching games on ESPN or at home games, whatever that could be. So I mean, if you're playing fantasy, if he's doing good or not. If he has good average, or how many home runs he has, or how many touchdown passes he has, or whatever, and how many points per game, whatever that could be, and that really helps you out. So I always believe that playing fantasy helps you understand everyone in the entire field because the running back goes down and gets hurt. You get that backup running back, his card value skyrockets, and he has a great season. So you have to watch that, and that really helps you out to learn the players and learn who's a great goalie, who's a good running back, who's a good quarterback, all that stuff. So I mean, it really helps you out because you kind of you're wheeling and dealing there, and that helps you out when you're trading your cards and things like that. So, and when you're looking for cards as well. So other than that, my long-winded video about everything you need to start a sport card collection, all this stuff, setting a budget, community, playing fantasy, staying informed, where to buy cards, what kind of cards are good, what are base cards, what are parallels. I hope this video really helped you guys out. And if you ever need any questions, shoot them in the comments. And other than that, we appreciate you guys watching. Make sure that you comment. If you're still at this video after 21 minutes, make sure you subscribe if you're new to the Sports Card Hustler YouTube channel. And we appreciate you guys watching, and we'll talk to you guys later. Later.